I was gonna jump it, yes, that's my item. Thank you.
I mean, you're welcome to talk about what it doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, these are the funds we can pay into the Berkeley group. We had gotten a grant, from the Department of Conservation and Recreation. And we contracted with Berkeley group to, do a stormwater and resiliency plan. And these are the payments that have been made to Berkeley.
All right, so all in favor of approval of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we got in commission reports. I'll start down here.
Good afternoon. Almost evening, with the light, the Connecticut darkers. I'd like to report on the Columbia Beach Redevelopment and Housing Authority. There are 2 vacancies coming up. We definitely need to qualify professional people to fill those vacancies. Ideally, we would love to see applicants that are involved in development and housing, because the authority has opportunities to find money to help with affordable housing in the area. So everybody in that field would love to see you apply. The next meeting for that group is on November 17th. The Columbia Beach Planning Commission will meet next Thursday. Do we know where?
It's at the police station.
It'll be at the police station again. Is there anything, I haven't seen the agenda yet. Are there any public hearings or anything on that?
We have,
It's on.
okay. Yes, we have 3 public hearings scheduled for next Thursday. One is for the conditional use permit ordinance update. The other one's the site plan ordinance update, and we have conditional use permit 2302 concerning a new mobile vending vehicle courtyard on Washington Avenue.
Thank you very much. So I would encourage all residents that are interested in that to come to that planning commission meeting. They do have comments for the hearing comment period, and we also have another hearing comment period. The Columbia Beach Zoning Appeals Board, I don't know of any activity on that board. Haven't had any activity since I was late there. Do you know of anything, Mr. Dooley?
We do have one item that's coming up that we're trying to communicate with the chair to establish a date and time for that. So that will be coming up probably this month or beginning of next.
Okay,
It's soon.
thank you. I'd also like to remind everybody that today is the first day of November, and November is National Native American Heritage Month. I'm working on a proclamation to be presented at our regular meeting, but I just want to remind everybody that we're living on the tribal lands of a little known tribe called Cuttawone. That's Cuttawone. It was one of the many small tribes under the Powhatan chieftain. In 1609, the land from Galway to Montrose, from Potomac to Rappahannock, was inhabited by the Cuttawone tribe. There's very, very little information available on this tribe, but it existed here long before the ancestors of Monroe, Lee, Madison, and Washington. So I hope you find it a little bit more of that proclamation at our regular meeting. Thank you very much.
Give you a quick update on public safety. As you all know, I've been in this position for about a week now. I was sworn in on Monday in Montrose, so I can be officially here. Last week I had the pleasure of meeting with Captain LaBrania at the police station. She gave me a great tour of the facility. I have to say, after myself being retired law enforcement, the safety facility was probably the highlight so far of my town council for the past week. I was really excited to see a lot of the improvements they made to the police station, especially for a small town, so that was really fun. Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., I'll be meeting with the fire staff and volunteer rescue staff at the Columbia Beach Fire Station at 6 p.m. to meet with them and introduce myself. And I'm hoping to snag the chief on Friday morning for a cup of coffee to meet with him and hear his concerns and get to meet him and start to work with you all. So, quick update for me, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Update for our Parks and Rec. We have not had a meeting this month yet, since this is the first. We're scheduled to have that on Tuesday of next week. So if anybody wants to partake in that, please join us. We also had availability on the Parks and Rec Commission, so if you'd like to join, please do so. A couple of events that we have coming up for November. November 2nd, we have the Farmers Market, which will be, you can find flowers, produce, eggs, chocolate treats, and happens weekly until November the 16th. Some of y'all may or may not know that there is a Healthy Kids running series that goes on every Sunday at the high school. Basically, the kids from about 3 or 4 years old up till 5th grade, I think is what it is. Run either the 50-yard dash, 75-yard dash, half mile, quarter mile, full mile, that kind of stuff. So that's always a great turnout for that, have the kids run around the fields there and get some energy burned off for the Sunday afternoon. The second Friday coffee walk is November the 9th. Meetup is at 8 a.m. Also have the
Security, there's coffee walks all year, by the way, so even in January.
well, I'm just kind of doing it around the last few people thing. Also have a community meetup. Huntington Community Foundation hosts a monthly gatherings. That's on November 16th from 6 to 8. And then the next Parks and Rec event will be the November 21st, which is a oyster shell craft night. That's from 6 to 8. And that'll be at the community center. That's all I have. Thank you.
I wanted to tell everyone how much fun we had at the pumpkin walk. It was really good to see so many people out and visiting with everyone who was in the parking lot that night. I don't know how much candy we ate, but, there's a lot. As of right now, there are 352 elementary children. In the high school, we have 229 children. Young adults, I should probably say, for a total of 561 in school, and then pre-K 26. So the number is 607. And I thought Dr. Mitchell would be here tonight to give us some more updates, but apparently they have taken him a little bit more. Any questions?
Yeah.
Good evening. Not really much, there hasn't been any, I haven't had any meetings with the economic development manager or the economic development committee since our last meeting, so no real updates for the economic development. There was a meeting, I think, with the Rapid Organic Tribe that was supposed to be scheduled today. Our economic development manager, Kelly Pettico, was supposed to take them around. We were supposed to have lunch at locations, but that got canceled or postponed, so we're working on that.
Mr. Wood?
Okay, let's see, so the great news, everybody's been tired of driving around in the dust here in town while we get the CDA completed. That's going to be done one budget ahead of time, well before the end of the month. And I want to congratulate Diane Myers, our head of public works, and her entire team for wrapping up a huge project and getting it done in as expeditious method as possible. So congratulations, thank you for your efforts on that as well. As Vicki had mentioned, the trunk or treat, the head of task mates. how many kids did we have? Probably 300
Oh,
that came by.
yes.
400, but just an incredible event. And so I would recommend anybody who has the opportunity to take advantage of that and then participate in that the next time around. As far as the Alliance report, it's pretty brief. The Artist Guild, the art walks will continue through December, dates November 10th and December 8th. The CD Community Foundation, the monthly meetup is November 16th at 6 p.m. at Kobe. It's going to highlight the new restaurants Drift and Hughes, so let's welcome them to the community. Speaker's going to be Duke Dodson, someone representing downtown Columbia Beach. Donations in 50-50 at the Ice Ice Bingo raised $586 for the Foundation Scholarship Fund. And for downtown Columbia Beach, they're going to be meeting with Main Street America soon. That's going to be tremendous when we finally get that done. Kelly Efko has been hired as part-time director or DCB director. So congratulate her when you see her. The fundraiser is on February 10th, Mardi Gras Gala. And so visit the Bonton Relay. And set up for the full Main Street affiliate is going to be January 2025. Thanks.
Oh, it's just the last one.
Good to talk. That's really I missed the trunk or treat event because I was in the Rockfish tournament, which was beautiful, 80 degrees, and didn't win, but it's okay, I'm not better, a lot better. I did catch 6 fish. Oh, yeah, okay. But I just want to say how many kids were out for Halloween, though. If you live in the Meadows, I'm looking at Chris this week, he went into his house. It was mayhem, and other people, including me, may say no kids came to my house. But I will tell you, if you were walking down Meadow Avenue or Riverview Avenue, that's because they were all there. That place was packed, and there were so many kids for Halloween out. So just thank you to all of our community for staying safe for Halloween and for providing a safe and a fun environment for our kids for the holiday. Coming up, we're going to have an event stakeholder meeting for follow-up for the year and get ready for events for next year. Hopefully, we're going to make that some improvements and do good things next year and make and get on the same page with some of our groups that sponsor many events throughout the year. And I'm also looking forward to construction, the home builders meeting we've been doing quarterly. I don't have a date for that yet, but that is set soon as well. For administrative liaison, I really think this is more, goes into the presentations that we have tonight, so I'm just gonna move straight into presentations, which is, the first one is a recognition of public works. And this is a little bit more specific tonight to the rollout of the tutor program. See, Rick thought that was a funny thing, the rollout of the tutors.
I'm a big fan.
But it really takes a whole crew of public works to make a program like that come off the ground, and months of work and advocacy, and it takes multiple departments too. I mean, I know finance has played a big role in making this happen as well. But we just wanted to really recognize the fact that we did start a brand new program this year and did execute it, and it maybe wasn't flawless, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty great, and everybody teaching their tutors. We have improved safety in our community by the use of the tutors. I was very happy when Bill came up and spoke at public comment last meeting about that, he as driving the trash truck, that he feels like 85% usage of the tutors and the rules in place for them, which are really to keep people safe, to keep our environment safe, and to keep our workers safe, our staff, and the people who do this job. They serve our community. So a big thank you to Diane and Chris, but please pass this thank you to Bill and Ricky and Matt and Adam and Lisa. It's usually want to give all the credit to. I know Adam has fielded phone call after phone call after phone call, for the good and bad of it. And has been quite an advocate for the program as well. So I just a really big thank to the team effort. I guess it says public works on the sheet, but the reality is the whole team effort to get a program like that in place. And also to, Richard, who I think alternatively drives the truck, and all the other guys who step in when Matt or Ricky aren't there. There is a street coming your way on the ride. Thank you very much. The next appreciation is for Ms. Natasha Tucker, who doesn't go without saying deserves the International Peace Award of Columbia Beach. No, the Keep the Ship Afloat Award. Maybe we do need to name something for it, the Draper Award, right? For keeping us rock and rolling and steady and everything moving forward fairly smoothly. To be honest with you, I think there's a consensus of council. I've heard only good things about the fact that while our Captain India Adam Jacobs was out for maternity leave, it was just a real comfort to have somebody in that place that did the job so well and just really kept everything going. Just thank you for all the time you spent with this and your continued service to Columbia Beach as we keep doing well and keep it moving forward. So we have a certificate from Natasha. You come up here. Alright. Student Natasha, who has served with dedication and distinction as acting town manager, in grateful recognition of your tireless efforts, was included late nights, I know, because I call you at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, you're still on. Leadership, commitment to the betterment of our community during your tenure. Your exemplary service has greatly contributed to the well-being of our town, and your dedication has not gone unnoticed. You get 5 minutes, age your name and address for the record, please.
Do I need a microphone?
Yes, just turn it. There's a little switch on the top. Give it towards you, feel it. There you go.
Nigel Long, 115 Lynn Haven Court. Firstly, Krista, welcome to the board. I was going to make some joke about having big shoes to fill and following the excellent work that Tom did, but might have to be appropriate. So, 3 quick comments. Toters. Absolutely agree with what was just said about how well Public Works has rolled that program out and hopefully all the benefits it'll bring to the community. But I had a question, if anybody chooses to address it. I seem to remember that we used ARPA funds to buy the toters. We are now gaining revenue from residents, which I would have thought has the potential of notionally repaying those ARPA funds or putting back into that column. And you may all have considered this already. I've had a couple of different notes from what happened back there, 175, 195,000 in a couple of different places. And I just wondered whether it is the council's plan to other activities that the town might benefit from in terms of that. So that's the question. On the zoning, and I can come back if you prefer, but I'm sure you only want to hear it from me once. On the zoning plan fees, I don't have any interest in that, personal interest in this. I'm not disputing whether I have no knowledge as to whether it should be $50 or some other amount. My suggestion with these fees and other future ones is that either you should index them. Now, maybe it is too difficult to add 5% every year to the fees and printing new forms and confusing our poor owners of short-term rental properties. But maybe there should be a provision that it's reviewed every 4 years. Maybe if $50 a year is the amount to recover the council costs now, maybe in 4 years' time it should be $60. Maybe that should be written into the proposal for this and other fees, so that you have a mechanism to reconsider it sometime in the future. Just a suggestion. And my final thing is only a concern about, I'm sure it is the ordinance 752, section 10.7, idle fireworks. I really hope that isn't going to prevent our residents doing their wonderful things in or around town when they set off their own fireworks at holidays. And I speak as someone who, if I was back in England, would be celebrating bonfire night and setting off fireworks on November the 5th. That's all brought to my mind. Thank you.
The funds from to be collected for the cans are already in budget. Unfinished business, we don't have anything, so new business, I'll move on to, we don't have anything by email, right? Not speaking to anybody. Okay, right. Moving on to establishing the short-term rental zoning permit, B, just the B part, right, Mr. Rowley?
That's correct.
Go right ahead, floor is yours.
Thank you. Mayor, members of council, the town council approved zoning text amendment 2304 on October 18, 2023. The zoning text amendment added section 18-6 to Article 18 to the town's zoning ordinance to regulate the establishment and operation of short-term rentals in Colonial Beach. Under section 16-6B4, all short-term rentals require an annual zoning permit to operate. This provision also requires the payment of an annual STR permit fee. At the October 18th, 2023 meeting, the staff recommended establishing the STR fee at $50 and adding it to the town's zoning permit and planning fee schedule. The town council subsequently authorized a public hearing for tonight's meeting to take public testimony and consider the new fee proposed by staff. At this time, the commission's alternatives to establishing the fee are one of the following: to approve the establishment of a $50 STR permit fee, B, defer the adoption of the fee for additional study, C, waive the establishment of an STR fee or not charge a fee, and D, increase or decrease the fee to something other than $50. As identified in the staff report, staff is recommending that the council adopt the attached resolution establishing a $50 STR permit fee and adding it to the town zoning permit and planning fee schedule. Happy to answer any questions of the council. Thank you.
Okay, is this an advertised public hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:29 p.m. Officially for the record. I already signed up. Okay. I will close it at 6, I was going to say 6:30. For the record. If nobody signed up, then we can open it to council discussion. We're not voting on this tonight, we're just going to vote at the regular meeting.
Yes, I have a question. So I noticed that this is going to be an annual zoning permit fee, right? So it's renewed, or it has to be applied for every year, or it's renewed every year?
It's renewed every year, and it would go from May 1st to April 30th.
And I was
Nature.
just, most, and I'm probably wrong on this, but in my mind, most zoning permits are kind of a one-time thing.
The way this is established is it refers to it as a zoning permit, which is consistent with state language for SPRs.
But are most zoning fees or zoning permits like a one-time fee? Is this an exception to have an annual? I was just curious, because I know when I got my zoning permit for a home office years and years and years ago, it was a one-time fee, et cetera.
Yes, ma'am, it's typically identified as a one-time fee. That when you have the approval of an application, it's approved indefinitely, or it's approved once and then you don't have to do anything further with it. For the short-term rentals though, because it's a yearly permit, there is a time limit to the zoning permit fee, so it has to be renewed every year.
Okay, so the permit is only good for 1 year?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what makes it different?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
No questions really, just a comment, just to urge staff to please do your best to make this as smooth a process as possible for our constituents, because we don't need any more frustration. So I know I did mention this to Mr. Dooley and Darla as far as if there's a way town can maybe use some of this fee money to invest in some kind of software or something to make this a easy online process and maybe some tracking involved and stuff. That is something I think would be very helpful to our constituents. That's all. Thank you.
And Madam Mayor, if I had to respond to Councilman Williams, staff is working on developing an online application so that it can be done easily at somebody's home, so that we eliminate the need to go back and forth. And again, in that same spirit of making it as easy as possible for everyone. So that will be coming online, hopefully by the end of December. Just have to schedule into our normal workflow, but we are working on that as well as a paper application, so that if someone prefers to fill out, but we are looking to expedite these.
Thank you.
I have two questions, kind of related to that. I'm assuming the May 1st deadline is aligns with the business license.
Yes.
And since the finance department has been so key in a lot of all these programs, because they all end up touching finance, there will be some kind of collaboration with the business license, and like the mailer that you get for business license will maybe also include something about the short-term rental registration in the automated mailer.
Yes.
Looking at Adam's
Would-
done.
yes, that is correct. We had-
Okay,
We will
We
also,
talked about it before, yes.
okay, all right.
staff,
And it will-
I'm sorry, Adam.
Sorry, and it will be online as well on our online application.
And we will be advertising it through tweets of the towns to make people aware of that the application's available and the fees and when they start. To try to roll this out to make everyone aware of it long before the applications are due.
Okay, sounds good. I think the key to making this easy is the finance. Yeah.
So in our investigation of the 130 plus short-term rentals, do we have addresses for all those listed? So can we send this to them and say, you have a short-term rental, please apply, that kind of stuff? Is that something we're discussing?
Yes.
Is there a penalty for if they've been already without a business license and they're on that?
As of now, there's no penalty except for when they apply for a business license. There would be a penalty applied to that business license application. But the
Doesn't really
code,
incentivize them to get.
it doesn't.
Interesting. Yeah.
So when they apply for the business license and their zoning permit, there's something on that questionnaire that asks them when it was established, this, that, and the other, and we go back and penalize them for failure to do so.
We have not had that discussion as of yet, but
This is personal opinion, I'd like to hear council's feedback on it, but as an incentive to get people to register, if they register by a certain deadline, then it wouldn't be retroactive.
Is that something we do without changing?
I would believe so.
Would or would not?
I would.
Okay. I think, council or Dr. Sullivan has a very good idea. Incentivization to do the right thing. Sometimes.
Very scary.
Or you could just make it going forward.
Right. Any other thing to do with that?
The only way we would have to add language is if we found a location that didn't comply with the new ordinance. Something would have to be put into the code for a penalty to be added to them, to those addresses.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna add to the conversation that the short-term rental ordinance does reference penalties as appropriate under our current municipal code and zoning ordinance.
That's what I thought.
So there are already an existing provision in the code to penalize as appropriate.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's just one, we're not suggesting that we waive like back lodging taxes, for example. Like, if
No,
they're-
I think it's the business license fee, which is pretty minimal. The penalty, I don't know, I've never paid for on the business license, but what's it, like a 2% fee?
No, it's
or
10% of whatever your license fee would
license
be.
fee is, so the license fee is only $30, maybe about $3.
Well, it would depend on what each location made.
Oh, that's true.
Which
That's true.
receipts.
So if a location made $100,000,
Okay.
then they're, of course, yeah.
And then everything would be taken $100,000.
I just think because we have not made an effort to enforce this because we haven't had the capacity to do that.
Sure.
That to make it, okay, there's like, we call it, okay, so we have lobby taxes this year and we'll be penalty this year, $500, what do we call that? You should know.
Well, forgiveness at least.
Forgiveness, something, whether it's, okay, let's like from now, and you're not being penalized for not doing it before, but we know who you are now, so get in there and get it done.
I have no opinion on this either way, so I'm just looking for it. So, we've got three, and then see you head out. I would support you guys well, alright? Okay, alright, maybe we'll get back to you on that. So far, it seems like there's consensus to be graceful about it. I only have one other question. This came up a little bit when we talked about the ordinance, but it wasn't the primary focus of the ordinance. Was that the $50 has been discussed with the planning commission level, and I talked to Mr. Williams and Dr. Sullivan, you guys are at, planning commission meetings for that. Was that kind of the consensus of the commission, was that kind of, agreed on, because you also talk about losing $6,500 to administer this permitting process, and so if there's 130 rentals and adding $50 more to that would cover the $6,500, so I just didn't know that kind of conversation
Madam Mayor, there wasn't, staff initially brought the fee of $50 to the attention of the subcommittee and the planning commission as a matter of information to them. There wasn't an expectation that either the subcommittee or the planning commission would make a recommendation on that, as it's sort of outside of their lane of their responsibility. But we wanted to certainly, at least to make them aware of it. Staff doesn't recall any sort of significant or objection to it that I recall. So it really wasn't considered as part of the planning commission's act.
Okay, sure, I understand. I'm gonna ask for Mr. Ryan.
Just very simply, basically what Don said, we decided that whatever the council or the town's choice was on fee was outside of the planning commission's purview. We felt that yes, there ought to be a fee associated with it, but that what was appropriate for the fee should be set by the town and shouldn't be, the fee itself should not be in the ordinance what the actual number of that was. That was a town, whether it's town manager, finance, town council, whatever, but that was in that purpose.
So, I guess on council, is there any appetite for? You don't, I'm just looking for you. Put it on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay. That's $50. All right, next up is ordinance 752.
Okay. So my understanding is that about a year or two ago, the council decided to focus on going through its ordinances in the town code to update them, to streamline them, to make sure the code sections were accurate. And so Vivian C. Giles, who was the town attorney at the time, started work on this. And what you have in front of you is the draft that she prepared a year ago. Now, what I have done is I have gone through it and I have double checked all the code sections to make sure we do have the authority to do these things and that everything is consistent with the code. So that is what is before you, and it covers a variety of things such as the authority of the chief of police, firework displays, fireworks, burning of materials, open fires. So it's the whole chapter of the code dealing with fires and fire safety.
So, Mr. Dunning said, I think this was just when Vivian went through a lot of the ordinances and the cleanup language with Tom, Roger. We're just trying to get through those. We have a time schedule. We planned out another month for each code section to get through. So council got to put in this after seeing Vivian and Tom's revisions to it. And I don't think the intent has been to change any particular policy, but now just to streamline it with today's state authorities. Yeah.
I do, two questions or points. I don't know if Mr. Dunn can answer them, but, number one, there are a lot of private firework displays that are done in the town and in the areas around town. Of course, we only have jurisdiction over the town. I don't know if those people get permits from somewhere to set off those fireworks, but they're absolutely not legal fireworks in Virginia. I would just be curious as to how we might go about enforcing this and have the chiefs to speak to that if that's possible. That's my first question or concern. The other one is I brought up about a year or two ago, the need for people to file a burn notice when they were going to burn in some manner, whether it's over a certain size or whatever, and it didn't get support, from the people that we were discussing it with, and it seemed to be, basically nobody wanted to take responsibility for whoever you filed this ordinance with. I would assume it would be the fire chief or somebody in the county, but just a notice to let people know when there was going to be a burn in the area so that they could take precautions with themselves or with their dogs. It all came about after there was a very large burn with a big ash fire in the center of town a couple of years ago. So I would like your comment on the possibility for pros and cons of requiring a burn notice for fires over a certain size.
I believe you can do that. I would have to double check the code to make sure you have that authority. I think you have pretty broad authority to deal with fires locally. There are some, one of the things that's taken out, I believe, is a state ordinance, which is still the law of the state that can be enforced, where you have fires that spread to your neighbors as subject to civil fines, and that's probably a misdemeanor too, if I recall correctly. So you have that, but as far as the notice itself, I guess the question would be the logistics of that. Who gets it, how far ahead, how do you judge the size of the fire, what you're burning? I mean, there is stuff in here about what you can't burn, but still some of these fires can get out of control with just burning brush and leaves. So, but I guess it's the appetite of council that you want to look into that.
Yes,
Just a quick question, has this been run by the fire chief, the fire department? Just curious if they.
Not that I know of, but I mean, it follows the law.
you wanna take that to them tomorrow, Krista, when you go do that?
We're not going out to meet anyway, right?
No,
Okay, so yeah, that would be good. You have them review it.
yeah, yeah, they're in.
Red flag. Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna advocate on behalf of all people with allergies to not burn leaves. I know, I'm still just put it out there. Even Reese's no support.
Can we ask the chief to speak to anything?
Speak to the leaf burning and the fireworks thing. So the rules for the fireworks, they have always been permitted.
Right.
Madam Mayor and Council, I reviewed this matter with the State Fire Marshal's Office months ago, maybe even last year. It's been a while when this was first being discussed. And the police department has authority to enforce the state codes regarding the fireworks, according to the State Fire Marshal's Office. We can also ask them to intervene and investigate on certain things, and they can even comment, collect any surplus fireworks if he sees any from us, so they can be properly disposed. So this matter was reviewed with them.
We're gonna set a public hearing for the next meeting? Well, we don't have to have a public hearing, but we like to allow public.
We'd
hearing.
like to do that.
Yes, it's a preference, not a requirement. You guys go with doing that at the next meeting? Yeah, I'd like to get through all these codes, even if they're, more refinement can always come, but some of this stuff is just cleaning process. So after this one, I'll bring a next one. Okay. All right, any other discussion on that? So I'm going to adjourn the meeting tonight. At 6:40 now. No closed session. Nope. Yeah. Meeting adjourned.
You're back. Meeting takes 45 minutes? No. Let's do that, baby.